Stay tuned for today's Antidote, brought to you by the Renegade Success Network. Today's Antidote features a healthy dose of thought-provoking insights and information for business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and nonprofit professionals. Each day since March of 2020, this program has offered that one thing to help you continue on your own unique pathway to success. And now, Renegades, we bring you Bob Graham and Tom Brush.
Day after a holiday, getting back in the swing of it day. Hoo-hoo, good times.
Yeah, those days are always interesting. I wonder, how often people are so busy and so fired up to get back to work, I guess, that they either get overwhelmed or they're really productive. Interesting perspective on that, because you were talking about how excited you are to dive back in. And part of me is like, okay, I am, and I got to do this. How am I ever going to get it all done?
Well, I was excited to dive back into it because it was less chaotic than the last couple of days. There's been a lot of moving parts. So, work kind of grounds you that you have a set list of things that you're typically doing. And also, I'm a firm believer that 4-day weeks are the hardest weeks. It just seems like they're always difficult. You give me a choice of 4-day work week or a 5-day work week, I'll take the 5-day work week every time.
That's interesting. From the guy who wants to make sure he has Fridays to play golf.
But that's work. Always meet with business people.
All right. Fair enough.
Transacting. Put me in a bad position there, Tom. Come on, throw me a bone.
I was just curious. Well, I'm trying to explore this. Because I wonder what would happen if you just were like, I'm going to have a 4-day work week.
Well, I'm forced into it this week, right?
Correct. Yeah. And what if that became the norm?
I don't know. I like that idea. I'm going to have to think about that. But let's get to our topic, because there are some people that probably missed yesterday, the first day of our summer of celebration. Woo, woo.
You like that hand rate. You like that motion, don't you?
It's good. It's good. There it is, summer celebration. If you missed it yesterday, we are going to do the summer celebration. Every day we're encouraging you to post in the Ring of Renegades Facebook group your celebration. It can be something big, it can be something small, it can be business, it can be personal, it can be a combination, it can be both. It doesn't matter exactly what you're celebrating today. Someone said to me, could I celebrate that I got up on time? I was like, perfect. Someone else said to me, could I celebrate that I had a big contract? Perfect. It doesn't matter. What the goal here is to think about the things that cause you to want to celebrate and to post them and share. And one of the really important things I think is, for me, seeing what other people celebrate. I know my list of what I celebrate will grow, because people celebrate things that to me are like, yeah, whatever. But if someone else says, well, that's a big deal, it's like, oh, yes, I had forgotten that. So it's a win-win.
Yeah, somebody yesterday celebrated that they got a workout in before the holiday festivities. And again, that's great, because I think it's things like that, it's the actions that we take, that when we do take the time to celebrate them, we are able to then do them again and say, okay, well, you know what, if I can do that on a holiday, why couldn't I do it every day, or 3 days a week, or 5 days a week, or whatever it might be, So if I wanted, maybe your celebration is on the end of the week is going to be that you were happy with a 4-day work week, and that's going to be the norm going forward.
Oh, interesting idea. Wow, I like that. I might have to play with that one a little bit, Tom. That's good.
So anyhow, we hope that you will take the time. The post is already up for today. So you can go on in and post what you would like inside the Ring of Renegades, what you'd like to celebrate today. Mine is already up, and I look forward to reading others.
You are the early bird today.
Yeah, I don't know why, but because I'm a little sore from yesterday. Spent 6 hours paddling a kayak on a river, and it was great. And I was a little sore last night, so.
I removed a tree and replanted a tree, and I am really sore today.
That will do it. That will do it.
Yeah. Yes,
All right.
exactly. And
So
I see Tim and Peter are joining us this morning. Great to see you guys. Good, happy Tuesday morning to you. Wanted to do a little shout out there, Tom.
I know how much you enjoy that, so that's great. Thank you guys for joining us. So yesterday we talked a little bit about what celebration was. And if you missed it, I thought it was a good discussion, especially as it related to Memorial Day. So you might want to go back and just check it out and listen for a little bit. We cut out at the end. Sorry about that. And the beginning part was great. So
speak for yourself. I was there, wasn't I?
I think you were. Yes.
Yeah, I thought I wrapped that up beautifully.
I'll have to go back and watch that to see what it was. So today we're going to talk about why it matters. Why is it so important? Why have we chosen to do this throughout the summer? And why is it important every day to find things to celebrate? So do you want to kick us off today, Bob, with some thoughts about why celebration matters?
I would love to. I posted a quote this morning that says, celebration happens when the mind unites with the spirit. Celebration happens when the mind unites with the spirit. And I like that idea because to me, the mind is one thing and the spirit's another. When they are aligned, it's a higher level. And so we're celebrating something there that we couldn't have reached with just our mind or just our spirit. The things that we want to celebrate, that we achieve, the successes we have, whatever they are, personal, professional, really come from something that goes far more, that takes us further than we've been before. It's the equivalent of, I ran 3 miles for the last 6 weeks. I didn't, I wish I had, but suddenly this week I can run 5 miles. Those extra 2 miles, that's something beyond what I was able to do before. Am I making any sense? I'm not sure I am.
Yeah, of course. It's what's real for you. Of course it makes sense. I think it's trying to, it's so funny because sometimes I think I equate mind and spirit as the same. They're sort of out there that you can't touch. You're not really sure like who's speaking in my head, why are they speaking in my head, and I think that when you bring those two together, whether they are the same or different, you bring them together. I think that when there is harmony, there is when you can do things that you never thought you could do. I think sometimes our mind limits us, and if we allow our heart or our spirit or whatever to take over, that it can push us beyond what we thought was possible. And I think typically that means we're celebrating what we have inside, not just maybe, oh, I'm sore today and so I can't really do it. So yeah, you know what? The reason we do it is because it's going to make us feel even better, so we do it again anyway. So I think there was some sense there. I'm going to go in another direction.
But before you go in another direction, let me add a quote or comment from Tim. To me, celebrating is expressing your gratitude. It's so important to keeping ourselves aware of all the incredible things that happen to us every day. And I like that, celebrating gratitude. Because the more gratitude we show, it seems like the better things get for all of us.
Yeah, and I love that too, and I think there's another piece to it as well, is that in some ways gratitude is celebrating what happens around us and all the things that are there to support who and what we are. Critically important. I also think that celebration is beneficial for the things we do and the things that we take action on. And by doing that and celebrating it, it helps us continue to do it and move forward. We talked a little bit about that yesterday. I think that why it matters is because it helps us keep going forward. It helps us continue on when we're like, yeah, I'm not really feeling it. And when we recall how great it was to celebrate when we pushed beyond what we thought we could do, when we took an action that we were afraid of and got a result that we were looking for, or we just got a result. When we were willing to take the next step and not worry as much about results, be afraid of what might happen, think about what we could have, should have, or would have done differently. All of those things that slow us down. I think that to me is one of the reasons that celebration is so important, is that it helps us keep moving forward. And, and I think otherwise we would just continue to beat ourselves up or question, why did we do that? Because you take an action and you get a result that you're not looking for. Typically, people go back and start to question, well, why did I do that? I should have done this. I could have done that. And, that doesn't help us move forward necessarily. And so I think if we can celebrate, hey, you know what? We did it. Now let's figure out what we need to do next. And that process of just moving forward, I think is why, to me, one of the reasons why celebration matters.
Another reason to me is, in addition to moving forward, it's also more positive spirit. When you're celebrating, you're smiling, you're usually happy, you're rejoicing. And I think that helps overcome and offset the difficult days, the challenging situations. And like any muscle, and I think learning to celebrate and show gratitude are muscles that we have to use. The more we use them, the better we get at using them. And I think if we approach each day with a sense of celebration and gratitude, which I think go hand in hand, we start to see the world differently. I've talked to people who are like, yeah, I started a gratitude journal and I have to find 3 things every day, and they have to be different. And I didn't think I could do it. And after the first 3 days, I was out of stuff. And I started to realize that, the birds are out chirping when I wake up, and nature's there. And the person was talking about s'mores, making s'mores was one of had forgotten about that. It's like, there are a million things that we could celebrate every day, each of us. And many of us get so wrapped up in trying to achieve things that we just don't take that time. And I think that's important time, just like the time it takes, we always stop sooner or later. You stop to eat, you stop to drink some liquid because it's good for your body and for your mind. I think celebration is the same thing. We should really consider it in that same list. Like, okay, it's 10 a.m. What do I have to celebrate? Oh, it's 2 p.m. What do I have to celebrate? And I think if we did that, I know when I do that, I've been doing that for the last week, I marvel at all the things I celebrate. Like this morning, I'm celebrating that I have gone 6 weeks without having to reset my internet. That's crazy. That's crazy, right?
Yes.
And if we weren't doing our celebrations and I wasn't thinking about things in that line, and that was after what? Probably a year of chaotic internet. Haven't had a problem in weeks now. I've jinxed myself probably. But I think that's the thing, right? That it's something that no one was paying attention to, but it just popped into my head. I'm like, hey, usually on Monday or Tuesday morning, I have to reset it. I haven't done it in weeks.
Yeah. No, I think you're true. I mean, I think it's that idea of reworking that muscle and getting more and more comfortable with doing it on a regular basis is how we get successful, right? It becomes a habit. Don't they say that it takes 30 days, I think is the ongoing, or 21 days to build a new habit. And, so we're going to extend that a little bit, and it's going to be over the summer. And if all you can do is 21 days or a week or 3 days in a row of celebrating, you will be able to move forward and get more comfortable in doing it. And I think that's the biggest part of the process is, how do we add this to our day? How does this become a part of how we are spending the time that we have each day to be able to help us move forward?
And if you watch children, little kids, even the 9-year-olds I was lucky enough to have dinner with last night, they were excited by look, sparks coming off fire. Oh, there's sap on the branch. Oh, the fire's getting really big. Oh, the marshmallows are roasting. Everything was a celebration. Every little, Rose, my wife made some really great soup, and Rose said, this is so good. She was celebrating the soup. And I think as kids, we do that naturally because we're full of wonder. And it's like, wow, this is new. Wow, right. This is new. But when we get to adulthood, it's like, yeah, it's a Tuesday. It's another Tuesday. Had 150,000 of these, might as well have 150,001, right?
Yeah, and I guess the interesting thing is that each day isn't the same. Each Tuesday isn't the same. And when we can stop and consider what are all the special things about this day, this bowl of soup, this time together that we can really, I think, better appreciate. And I think that's where the gratitude that Tim was talking about really comes in, is that we start to understand that we are approaching each new situation with a different reality, different knowledge, experience, and perspective. Yes, all those Tuesday is the same, and yet no day is alike. Once you've had something, now you have that knowledge of it, and now you're able to move forward with a different perspective. And I think that's, if we start to look at it like kids do, with this new knowledge, not new knowledge, new wonder and discovery, as this isn't just the same old, same old. This is something brand new, because I'm coming at it having had all these other experiences that are putting me in a different place. And isn't it great that I get to explore something brand new in a different way?
Yeah, everything's new to a kid. I mean, look at a little kid. We have a neighbor across the street, and he started to walk. And you can just see the joy as he plods along this way and that way, distracted by anything. But just watching him plod along is just so exciting, because you can just see every step is like, this is awesome. I am motoring.
Right.
And we just lose that.
Sure, you don't think about it anymore.
Right. When was the last time you thought about how great it is that you can walk?
Actually, it was about a week ago. My knee was super stiff from officiating and running up and down the field, and I was happy when it was not sore anymore. So,
well, how sad that we have to have a pain and injury to remind us. What if we could learn a lesson without the pain and injury? How great would that be? So my one thing today, Tom, is to find something really simple to celebrate. Not the big thing, like, I finished my taxes, right? I saved $4,000, but something really simple to rejoice in. That, my internet's worked for 6 straight weeks. Perfectly simple, and something that we would overlook so often. And I think if we start with the simple things first, that's the muscle I want to work on. I want to start to celebrate the simple things, not the big things. I tend to celebrate the really big things. It's the steps along the way to the big things that I lose track of. So maybe the thing today is to just start with something super simple. What are you thankful for that is in your eyesight right this second as you're watching this?
I like that. I'm going to go a different direction for my one thing, because I got thinking about it while we were talking about it, and you were talking about, how you build that muscle memory. And, one of the things I love that we do with all of our Renegade Success client members is whenever we meet with them for a laser solution session, the first thing we do is ask them what they're celebrating, because we want them, one, you want them to get in the habit. 2, it's helpful for us to know. And 3, because usually the reason they're setting up a laser solution session is because they're stuck with something. So they're frustrated, or they're overwhelmed, or they're just uncertain about what to do next. And you've shared this before, that when they start off by thinking about what is something that they are celebrating, it changes their whole perspective. And now they're in a different place. And I think it opens their mind a little bit. And it's not just, okay, well, let's dive into your challenge. It's, all right, where are you at? What are the great things that you want to celebrate? Now, given all of that and all these great things that you do, let's now attack the challenge that you have in front of you. And I think that, to me, is why it matters, is I think it opens our perspective differently and allows us to start to think that, yes, we can achieve things because we have done it in the past. And so this thing that's in front of us in the moment is not as big as we're making it out to be. And we can get through it and figure out what is that next step, even if it might be a tiny little step, to help move forward to get to the bigger goal that we're trying to achieve.
Here's a great example of what we're talking about today from Tim. Whoops, there it is. What? Hit the wrong button. There you go. From Tim, who's had some health issues. I'm on my walk right now, and I'm so grateful to be able to do so. I know he's been building up his walking over the last couple of weeks. And there's a great thing where we assume that we can walk until you can't. And
Right.
then it becomes really important. And how many of us don't think about walking from place to place and have never had the challenges that Tim or anyone else who's been through any kind of situation has had? So there's a great example of something you might say, well, wait a second, he's talking about walking. How does that help him with his work? I can tell you that the things we celebrate in our personal life do translate over to our professional life. If one is not doing well, the other is not going to do well as well.
Well, and here's the other thing too, is that we may get to a point where we're not able to do that. I mean, while I was waiting for my wife to show up after we dropped off the kayaks, there was a family that was walking an older woman down to a place on the little beach area. She was struggling because she was older, and clearly it was not easy terrain for her to walk down. And you know, as you were saying that, I got thinking about her, and I'm sure in some ways for her, the ability to get down the steps, across the rough terrain, down to where they were going to sit and spend their day was a celebration. And so we know that someday that might be us. Someday we might not be able to walk the way we have always. So why don't we make sure that we celebrate it now?
Awesome. Well, Tom, it's getting to the end of the program. I think it's your chance to do your ending, which I tried to fake yesterday. So I'm going to let you do it the professional way today.
That's just what's real for me. That's all right. You did great, I am sure. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. If you have one thing you'd like to share, please feel free and put it in the comments about why celebration matters. Or you can share it inside the Ring of Renegades Facebook group, where we are building a community of people trying to help one another take their next step on their own unique pathway to success. It's easy to do. Just go to Facebook, search for Ring of Renegades. Then you just have to ask to join, and then you can become a part of our growing community as we try to work through this challenges that we face, share the celebrations that we have, and why not do that in a group rather than trying to do it all alone by yourself? Much easier and much more enjoyable to do it in the group. Also, if you're in the group, you can share your summer of celebration and what you are celebrating today. Be a part of that experience, because I know that come Labor Day, people are going to be in a very different spot. And I think that, you know, one of the things I think happens at the end of the summer is you're like, oh, now back to this other routine. I hope that when we get to there, and I believe that when we get to there, the people who have taken the time to celebrate will continue, and that it won't seem as much of a burden to not have what we had in the summer and understand and experience differently what we have coming up in the fall. So with that, I hope that you will join us inside the Ring of Renegades Facebook group, and we hope to see you there. If not, we'll see you tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern time, for our next edition of today's Antidote. Here's some further information on the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. Have a great day, everyone. We will see you soon.
Carving your own path is tough. You want and need a community to offer you insights and advice, share inspiration, provide support, and save you time and money. But where do you find all that? Here's the easy answer: the Ring of Renegades Facebook group, where leaders, entrepreneurs, and business owners identify their next steps. Here's some of what you will find at the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. Just go to ringofrenegades.com and join today. Find and accomplish those next steps.